Hello everyone, thank you for coming to our conference on media. We want to start in 5 minutes. I want to thank you to our speakers for making it tonight to give us nice speech and to talk in detail about it. First we are going to start with our speakers, 15 minutes each presentation, and then we can leave space for questions and answers. So hope you enjoy it. And I am leaving the floor to our speakers. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Yorgos Kakouris. I work for the Greek Cypriot daily Politis. I cover mainly the Cyprus problem and negotiations and also some politics. I have a much narrower expertise than Sami here, so I'm going to talk on behalf of how, at least I look into journalistic ethics when it comes to political reporting, when it comes specifically to covering the competitive relationship between two negotiating sides, and perhaps how we should see each other as journalists as well from opposing sides, rather than enemies, see each other as co-journalists that should operate by the same principles even if we disagree. So I would like to point out that when we talk about ethics in journalism, especially when it comes to political journalism and when it comes to Cyprus specifically, we tend to conflate it with peace promotion and the academic subsection of peace journalism. It's a pet peeve of mine to say that peace journalism is not a thing in and of itself. Peace journalism is actual journalism done right in the context of a conflict, rather than some different kind of thing where you promote peace as an end in and of itself. The aim of making sure that journalism does not stoke division, does not increase hatred and create tension is a noble one, but if we make it into the sole purpose, it becomes susceptible to being influenced by the idealism of the journalist. As it should be less idealistic, and I believe it should be more of an extension of the practice of doing journalism right. Especially in the case of Cyprus, people that are skeptical towards a solution or are enemies of a solution or are racist themselves, it's very easy for them to stigmatize people that work for a solution or that are good journalists by using names. That's why I believe that that idea, understanding and promoting the idea that to promote peace and cooperation between the communities, we have to practice journalism properly, is how you can win over journalists that are skeptical to a solution or are not necessarily idealists. Like, there are excellent journalists I've met over the years that I've worked with, waiting outside the old airport for the leaders to come out, or going with them to Geneva or Montana. There are excellent journalists that are not necessarily idealistic about a solution, but they do their job right, and if they see something positive, they report something positive. If they see something negative, they report something negative, and if they have to criticize our side, they do. And if they have to point out that the other side has done something correct, they will do that. So I think it's critical to win these people over by pointing out that it's the way you do the journalism, not the reason you do the journalism, that's the point. And to, in that way, facilitate the move away from each other calling them rejectionists and then calling us traitors, but having all of us practice the actual work. And it will be an issue of how you do things properly rather than what you want to do with it. We should always do what Hillary Clinton was saying when they go high, when Michelle Obama was saying, when they go low, we go high. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my colleague Yorgos Kakouris. And I'd like to give you some examples before starting to give some examples on the Cyprus issue. I will talk about the Turkish Cypriot media, and I'll give you some examples which is really important for the public interest, which are against to the ethical codes. This is maybe a story from the front page, one of the biggest newspapers. I will not underline which paper wrote it because of some reasons, but this is the after a car crash, which is we have been facing mostly every day, and this is not a new one actually. It was maybe 20 years ago or maybe more, and in front page you can see some killed people after a car crash, and the question is, if she or he was your relative, would you publish it with this picture? I can say to you, fortunately, that we are now better than this kind of stories in Turkish secure media, because we had some internal training programs, and we invited the social experts and psychologists and police people and journalists, and we said that this kind of publications are not good for especially the families and especially the children. So we can say that now we are in a good position, in a positive way, in such things. This is another ethical problem, the suicides. How we can cover the suicide story is an international and a universal issue on media. About the others, you know, we have many others, Cypriots, Turkish Cypriots, Armenians, Russians, lots of Russians in Limassol right now, and the Pontus people, we have Turkish people, settlers, and these are the people who we describe them as Romans or Gypsies. This is a headline. This is what I'm underlining, that these kind of stories are not from the recent newspapers. These are a little bit before, I mean 15-20 years ago. And the story is actually a good story, that the Gypsies are leaving Cyprus, or leaving the northern Cyprus, whatever. As a short sentence, journalism must be peace journalism, and I didn't cover here the LGBT, the others, and I just put some examples, but we have many things. Not only Turkish and Greek Cypriots are in the target of the unethical journalism. We have many things to do, and I can say that the journalism must be ethical and peace journalism. Thank you.
You said that good journalist is journalist for peace. Okay, this is an idea. I'm a pacifist, I endorse this idea, but for me, good journalist is a journalist that is fighting for the truth. And I think that this could be related, this idea that there is a problem here with the truth in this country. Because we are, because our political establishment was constructed in myths, historical myths, political myths, and of course media, they are supporting this establishment, they are part of this establishment. This is what we call the dominant, how can I say, this is the power, the political power that belongs journalists, media, parties, political parties, etc. I think that we have a problem with the truth in this country. And also we have a problem with democracy, with the quality of our democracy. The reason the reason that I think they have they have resisted so much the idea of truth and reconciliation, I think is this reason that truth is a kind of fear for the establishment, because their propaganda, their raison d'être is this myth, and I think we have a problem with the quality of our democracy. We have the problem that the problem is not the glossary. The problem is the right for free speech. It's the right of free speech. This is a basic human right, and this is related with the democratic cultures. And I think our democracy is suffering, and this is the reason that there is this. How can I say, this maniac against the glossary.
I think I have to add something. Okay, this is I didn't exclude, of course, the human rights or democracy when I say in a short way that journalism is a peace journalism does not mean that you advocate journalism. Peace journalism is about the daily life. How do you look at the LGBT community, the others, the settlers, the blacks, whatever.
So subjects like conflict, like the antagonism, like what we're gonna have to divide amongst us, or rapes, or when someone is abused, or refugees, or whatever. What I see is a pattern of going after the negative. All the news that we said now here, which are approached with the approach of peace journalism, have been about negative things, conflict things, how we're gonna call each other, how we're gonna jab and jab. It's a reactive, it's reactionary to the negative. That's one, okay, that's good. That's good to say how to approach the negative things in a better peace journalism. But there's another point. There are many positive things. There are many stories. So I believe the other side of peace journalism is to go after to these stories. But you will say, I'll give you an example of a great news. You want to hear it? I'm alive today.
Uneventful if things are going well. But the juxtaposition is the point. And also there's a good story that's active. We can be something about a bi-communal initiative that goes well, that creates something new. And you're right, but I see that in this discussion we tend to, this whole thing, we tend to go reactively and talk about the negative things and how to deal with them, because we're constantly in defense of all the bad things, all the people telling us the traitors and bad people and evil races, and then we'll go defensive. But you're right, we should have pointed out as well that there's stories to be mined that show the full spectrum of situations, good and bad. But of course, we can't have a paper just of good news. We'll have a paper of things that progress. So maybe it's not important to the paper if you're alive today, but it's important to the paper to go find you and say, hey, this is the Cypriot who's learning Turkish, and he's had better communication with his friends over the past few years because of that.
So recently there are many joint publications and corporations between the media outlets, and also there are new joint common or bilingual documentaries which are balanced and giving the good messages to the other side as well. So we can see the full side of the glass, but we just try to give some examples on the bad side of the glass that we still need to struggle against them. Thank you very much.
Thank you for making it tonight and giving us very good presentation and answers to all questions, and thank you for coming.